Yes. Firm Foundation helped me academically, and like I genuinely would not be where I am without Firm Foundation, especially academically. Because I know, like growing up, my parents didn't know English, so they couldn't like help me with any of my homework. And I remember going. I think when we first started, it was 3 times a week. Then it became 2. But because of that, I would go like every Monday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, and then we would always start with homework. And I knew like every time I looked at my homework, I was like, I can't do this. And but like they would help me through it, and I did not know what I was doing until 6th grade. I believe Miss Jill bought me my first set of books. I think it was like Percy Jackson. And I remember I like got interested in reading so quickly, and I read that like within a week, and it was so like eye-opening because I'm like I can actually do this. And then I started doing more. I started reading more. I started like focusing on school more, and because of that, I was able to get more scholarships, get to school pretty easily, and just like my classes are a lot easier because of it, because I know how to like study. I know that I can do this even if it's hard.
As far as connected, I guess my name came up, and I met with Weeza and Herman was there, and so that was the first meeting I had with them. And Charlie was there, and there was someone else there. I can't remember his name. I think he retired from it. He'd probably been on the board for a while. So that was the first time I actually attended a meeting with Restore St. Louis. So
That's good.
and I want to say too that I had come to 82nd Street when I first moved to St. Louis in '97. And so it was a seminary student I met in the gym, and we got in an argument, because I came to California. He called California the epitome of Sodom and Gomorrah. And I said to him, we could teach you guys a few things about worshiping over color lines. I got just the place where he sent me to 82nd Street. We became great friends. And through him, I ended up going to seminary myself and earning a Master of Arts in Theology. So we became really good friends. And through that, I met Jeff McGee at a house church and a few other people. That was in early, late 90s, And eventually, I think I was moving to North County, and someone said, hey, there's a guy named James Williams. So I ended up joining that church, and I was there for 12 years, So still was an elder there and all that until it, dissolved,
Yeah. I think I missed all that. I didn't know you were with James Williams.
Oh, yeah,
all
12
right.
years.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I missed that part of your story.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm afraid I'm going to leave people out here. There's so many. I've just met so many incredible, what I call brothers and sisters in Christ. It started out with Steve St. Pierre. He was one of my first. I've know and spent time with Barry Henning, Andrew Stern, Angie Yarborough is awesome. Jeff Clay. Oh, I'm going to leave out people. L'Epiphany, Bernice. I just, again, there's so many people that I just respect and just view as brothers and sisters in Christ. They're just awesome people.
I first became connected with Restore St. Louis through serving for the Freedom School. My role at the Freedom School at that time was the after-school program director and substitute teaching. I think what brought me here was it was a time in my life when I became divorced and a single parent with 3 small children in elementary school. It was a very challenging time in my life. I had to be resilient in my finances, being emotionally stable, and physically also. It was a very challenging time.
Oh wow! So our whole team is from Harambe. Most of the guys that work with us are from the youth training program. There are a couple that I've been knowing for 15, 20 years, although we've only been a company for 8. I sat on the board for Harambe Youth Training Center, where I was able to meet some of these young, amazing people that are now old, amazing people. And so it's changed my life tremendously because they're great young people that all they needed was a chance. and once they got a chance, they just thrived.
My teachers truly, they were basically holding me up the whole time, and making sure I had everything I needed.
Did you have a favorite subject?
Favorite subject? I like creative stuff, so art and English.
Okay. And tell us about this past summer, your family experienced a disastrous situation. Can you talk a bit about that?
Yes. We were impacted by the May tornado and were left stranded almost without cars or a home.
And how has your connection to Restore helped with that circumstance? Mm-hmm.
Restore St. Louis helped connect us with a vehicle for transportation and for paperwork to get a new house.
So in my previous life, I've been a volunteer football coach for over 25 years. And so I have a lot of experience coaching. And my tutor opportunity, I have a young man who's in the 7th grade. And I think it's been a great fit because while I've developed that relationship with him, I've also been able to be that discipline, stern side. His mom is doing an amazing job. I can't believe everything she's doing. But there is that opportunity for that male voice. And so what I've been trying to do is to first develop the relationship so that when it's time to be firmer, that he has the respect for me to know that I'm in the canoe with him. Because sometimes we do have to ask for that accountability and hold people accountable. But you have to develop a relationship first before anybody will listen to that.
Beautiful.
I grew up pretty close to South City and like from Foundation. I lived a few blocks away in an apartment on Grand.
Mm-hmm. And for you, can you tell us a little bit about your family's background?
Yes. My family is from Nepal. We're a refugee. We came to St. Louis a long time ago. I want to say like 2012, 2013. I could be off by year. But we grew up near South City, and we moved a few years back. Like, still in the city, but closer to like Fond du Lac. I think we're pretty close with Restore St. Louis, but like particularly like from Foundation. I have 2 younger brothers who both attend from Foundation. I think one of them is going to the program over the summer, and one of them might work there or like help there. Depends like how his school goes and stuff like that. My parents aren't like really involved with Restore St. Louis, but they're close to a few of my tutors, especially one of them's like Miss Jill, because she would come over and like take us like 2 trips around St. Louis. So we got to know her through that, and she also taught me how to drive. So like because of that, they're like really close. Yeah, they don't really talk to each other, but like I communicate for them. But I know my parents like love Firm Foundation because of it.
With Charlie, I mean, I even told him, I said, this is the Lord doing this. And like I said, it is really rocking in there. I mean, guys are coming to Christ. We bounce off each other. He'll take over one Monday, I take the next, and we chime in. He's funny. He'll say something funny to me and about me or that kind of a thing. And so at first I was kind of, almost like Charlie, but rather I said, no, I think this is the Lord's in him. And now I want to cry that he's leaving now. Where are you going? I mean, we are rocking, come on, and he has great ideas. So he's the one really bringing me along in terms of Restore St. Louis and getting more involved in wanting this kind of structuring around the ministry. And we won't just involve me, but other people, maybe there'll be another contingent waiting here, that kind of a thing. So that's what I'm thinking more of now, and being more involved in their lives, in their children's lives even, once they come outside, I've seen that happen too, So a need to be that engaged with the guys.
God has used those relationships to draw me closer to Him by showing me an example of who He is. His love for us is never ending. It is it's breathtaking. It's breathtaking. That has really changed my life a lot. Just being in those relationships with those people.